Chad Doerman, how could he have done what he did? He's like another Chris Watts. Conor McGregor, assault of a sexual nature or just a financial shakedown? If this defense works, well, everyone's spouse should be afraid. Practice pointer, shooting someone in the back is not self-defense. And then finally, our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. I hope everyone had a great Father's Day out there, and it's a start to a busy week. All right, you know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below, and remember, you can listen to us anytime on any of your favorite podcasting apps. Also, please go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for that background subscription service today. You'll be happy that you did. And when you do that, you will be able to search as many people as you desire while you have that subscription. And remember, you can cancel at any time. But when you do a search, you will get information sent to you literally as you wait, and it's going to have information about whether somebody has a criminal history. Are they financially destitute? Have they filed for bankruptcy? Everything that you want to know about somebody that maybe they're not going to tell you because they're embarrassed about it or they just don't want you to know. Go to crimetalksearch.com. You'll be happy that you did. Okay, let's go ahead and open the record for June 19th, 2023, and let's begin with the docket. First, body cam footage was released over the weekend that shows the moment that the Ohio police arrested Chad Doerman, who is suspected of shooting and killing his 3 sons. Now, Doerman was arrested on June 15th at the property on Laurel Lindell Road in Monroe Township, Ohio, and has been charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder. Now, police were called to the property that day after receiving a phone call from a woman claiming that her babies had been shot. Now, the prosecutors alleged that the 3 children were discovered by first responders lying in the yard of the home. The Claremont County Sheriff's Office has not yet released the identities of the children, but stated they were brothers ages 3, 4, and 7. Attempts at life-saving measures were unsuccessful, and all 3 children died. Now, Doerman was arraigned on June 16th, and his bond was set at $20 million, a record for that particular county. The prosecutor said this is by far the most sickening, horrifying crime that he has ever seen, and the prosecutor can only imagine the terror that these little boys felt and experienced as their father, their protector, was actually murdering them. That's right, the Claremont County prosecutor said that during the arraignment, and prosecutors said that Doerman lined up his 3 children before killing them with a rifle, and according to court documents, state that Doerman confessed to planning and carrying out the death of the victims involved for several months. Prosecutors state that one of the boys was able to run into a nearby field, but was chased down by his father, dragged back to the property where he was shot. The body cam footage was released Saturday, and it shows 2 officers getting out of their cars and attempting to yell to Doerman. They repeatedly shouted for him to walk towards them with his hands raised, and he failed to comply and remained sitting on the property. As the police approached with their guns drawn, Doerman continued to sit there, and they noticed a rifle sitting next to Doerman. With gun drawn, police approached Doerman, and he refused to follow their instructions. They also noticed a small hunting rifle placed next to him. The footage then shows the officers apprehending Doerman and putting him in handcuffs. Now, Doerman appears to be calm and didn't resist being restrained in any way. While one of the officers moved Doerman, the other officers appeared to attend to the 3 victims. Now, at 4:15 p.m. on June 15th, the Claremont County Communications Centers received a 911 call from an unknown female who was screaming that her babies had been shot. At 4:18 p.m., a second 911 call was made to the communication center from a passerby who reported that a female juvenile was seen running down the road, stating that her father was killing everyone. This girl was later identified as Doerman's stepdaughter. Now, in the body cam footage, the suspect alludes to this by saying that his daughter ran to the fire department. "It is my stepdaughter." Now, the mother of the 3 children a 34-year-old woman whose identity has not yet been released was also found with a gunshot wound, and the gunshot was to her hand and was not believed to be life-threatening. Now, the suspect's father, Keith Doerman, has also spoken about this incident and said that the triple murder was absolutely just terrible and believes that his son just snapped. I could tell in his eyes he's hollow inside. That wasn't Chad standing at the arraignment. That was not him. I don't know if it was financial. I don't know if it was mental. I don't know if it was work-related. I don't know. I can't talk to him. The suspect's father also defended him and said that while he is angry at his son, he remembers him being a super father. Okay. I get it. Don't want to beat a man when he's down, but you just killed your 3 children and tried killing a 4th stepchild. I'm going to go on a limb here, ladies and gentlemen. He is not a super father, okay? I hope he had a miserable Father's Day realizing what he did. And you can see in court when he's sitting there getting emotional and the district attorney is reading or stating the facts to the court about what took place. It maybe just kind of clicked that, yeah, he killed all 3 of his kids. This guy is Chris Watts-esque for sure. Not a good father. No, you're not a good father. I get it. Nobody wants to be judged at their worst moment, but when you kill all 3 of your kids, you're not a good father. I don't care what you did in the past. You're not a good father. Next, the Conor McGregor matter. A true assault or just a financial shakedown? Well, some new video has been released. As you may recall, the woman who accused Conor McGregor of sexual assault was seen on video with the UFC star at a club table just minutes after she says that she was sexually assaulted. Now, the footage was shot about 12:40 a.m. on June 10th inside the event center there in Miami, roughly half an hour after the woman claims he attacked her inside a bathroom following Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Now, in the clips, you can see McGregor and the woman appearing to exchange words while holding drinks before Conor eventually leaves the area. McGregor's attorney says that the footage shows that he has been claiming all along that these allegations are false and nothing more than a financial shakedown. Now, the attorney for the unidentified woman says, my client has always stated that there would be video of before and after, and in those videos, she emphasized that the difference in the interaction between them would be visibly noticeable. The attorney went on to say that this, again, is another video that supports what my client has been saying and supports what she told the police since the inception of the incident. While inside the restroom, the woman claimed that Conor McGregor kissed her without her consent, forced her to perform oral sex, and then attempted to sodomize her. Mr. McGregor has been adamant that the woman's claims are no more than a financial shakedown. Let me know what you think. Is this enough for a case to go forward? Having done many cases like this over the years, I think it's quite clear some people react differently than others in this type of situation. You cannot say that one size fits all. I don't know. Do you think the police have enough? It could be enough to say that they were together, they were in the restroom, and what is to say that it was not consensual in there? Well, her versus him. That seems like a question of fact for the jury to decide. Let me know what you think. Well, this next story, well, it's just a little weird. But if this defense works, everyone's spouse should be afraid. All right, the Tulsa Police Department alleges that Charles Bradley called 911 claiming he found his wife dead in their home in the early morning hours of May 1st, and he, may have killed her. Mr. Bradley claims he didn't know what he was doing when he allegedly shot his wife to death in the middle of the night. Mr. Bradley called saying he found his wife in the hallway and he had last seen her when they went to bed last night. He has a gun but stored it in the nightstand and trying to start CPR, the 911 dispatcher says in the recording. The caller is saying that he's certain that his wife was shot. While video shows officers approaching Mr. Bradley's home and knocking on the front door, the crying husband is taken into custody. Come out with your hands up. Keep coming. Do you have any weapons? Come on out. Come on all the way out. Is there anybody else in there besides your wife? Nope. I'm going to have to step you aside. There's other officers coming. Now, Bradley, it can be seen in the videos, and the officers enter the house and confirm that Sandra Bradley is dead by multiple gunshot wounds. Now, Mr. Bradley says, quote, I was having dreams about an attack. Now, after police read Mr. Bradley his Miranda rights and took him into custody, the Vietnam veteran started telling officers what happened in a series of different stories. Now, Bradley told officers he was awoken by the alarm on his wife's cell phone while he was dreaming. He said, quote, I was having dreams about an attack. Bradley told the police officers. Tonight? Really? What happened in the dream? The police asked him during the exchange, anytime they drop them over there, it's too close. I didn't do anything, Bradley told the police. Then her alarm started going off, and a few minutes later, I got out of bed, couldn't find her phone. There was blood all over the floor, and it looked like a slug laying beside her. So I stepped over her to turn her phone off, and she wasn't moving. She wasn't answering any call. And Mr. Bradley told the police officers that during their exchange. He also continued, I hate to say it, that the dreams I had have to do anything with what happened because I was in bed asleep when her alarm went off. Needless to say, Mr. Bradley was taken into custody and charged with the murder of his wife. He's pled not guilty, and he is facing first-degree murder charges. He was able to post $70,000 to make a $1 million bond. Now, let's face it, we all have spouses, significant others, where occasionally the phone goes off in the middle of the night, maybe a ding, didn't put it on silent. Can you imagine if this defense, maybe you have to have a little PTSD for it to work, but is it really going to work? The old I was dreaming defense. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. And next on the docket, a little practice pointer here. General rule, not saying it's not always valid, but general rule here. Shooting someone in the back is not usually deemed to be self-defense. Let me give you an example. A Florida woman is charged with shooting her boyfriend early Saturday morning, and she's claiming it was self-defense. The sheriff's deputies were called to the home before 3 a.m. on Saturday when they got a call from a couple's roommate saying that Tyler Nullish is in bad shape. He's hurt really bad, and there's a lot of blood. Now, Nullish was found in the living room floor with a bullet wound in his lower back, and the deputies also observed a 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun along with a spent shell casing on the floor nearby. Now, Mr. Nullish was unconscious but breathing when the deputies arrived, and he was taken to the medical center, but he died about an hour later from his wounds. Now, the roommate told investigators that Nullish and his girlfriend, Brittany Holbrook, had been drinking earlier, and that all three went to bed before a scream awoken the roommate. He ran into the living room and found Nullish on the floor bleeding. When asked what happened, Nullish reportedly said, "That bee shot me in the back." That, ladies and gentlemen, is an excited utterance. That is coming in at trial for Miss Holbrook. Well, Miss Holbrook undoubtedly has a different story. Holbrook told the detectives that there was a gap in her memory, usually not a good fact for the defense, but she remembers going to bed, but the next thing she recalls was being in the living room holding her boyfriend, who was covered in blood. In a later interview, she remembered Nullish attacking her, holding her against the wall, and choking her. Police, however, said that, sorry, we don't see any visible signs of any choking. Holbrook stated that she punched and scratched Nullish. Bruising on several knuckles of her right hand were in fact observed. Corroboration. Now, Holbrook stated she believed Nullish was attempting to kill her. She continued to claim that there was a gap in her memory and she didn't remember how she got away from Nullish. Holbrook stated that she had not fired a gun since moving from Stuart, Florida over 9 months ago, because they're trying to establish that the GSR, more than likely on her hands, was that from that particular evening. Needless to say, the police did not believe Ms. Holbrook's story, probably because her gap in memory and the fact that, there wasn't enough corroboration of being choked. Oh, and by the way, the victim was shot in the back. When you're running away, the threat is usually over. That's the way the police look at it. little practice pointer. Unless somebody's choking you and you have to come around the back and shoot them, which of course raises the great possibility that you could shoot yourself if the bullet went straight through you. So if you have the gun and they're attacking you, why wouldn't you just stick it in their belly and shoot them? Or at least something on the front of their body. Just a little practice pointer there, ladies and gentlemen. Or better yet, maybe she can say that it was a dream and she doesn't really know what happened. Maybe her boyfriend's alarm went off and it was a dream and she thought she was being attacked. Next on the docket, our dumb criminal of the day. Please meet Bradley Smith. He's been charged with stalking Evan Miyamoto. Why would he stalk Evan Miyamoto? Well, apparently after meeting the federal agent when he went to the DEA office in Tampa to report some suspicious drug activity over 10 years ago, apparently Mr. Smith has become a little paranoid that the victim was actually investigating him. This is all according to court documents. Now, despite Miyamoto's assurance that he was not being investigated, Mr. Smith allegedly pursued a year-long stalking campaign that included him showing up at the DEA office and other parts of the country in search of Mr. Miyamoto. Now, due to Smith contacting multiple government agencies, inquiring on the victim's residence, and coming into government offices, he was trespassed from the DEA's office in Tampa, Florida. Agents have spoken with the defendant multiple times and asked him to stop calling their offices and attempting to locate the victim. Well, Mr. Smith allegedly made threats to harm Miyamoto and, according to witnesses, claimed that he knew where the victim lived and has driven by his house several times. The witness, who is not identified in a June 15th felony complaint filing, alleged that Smith told police that Smith said he had access to firearms while speaking about how frustrated he has become with Miyamoto. While searching for Mr. Miyamoto, Agent Miyamoto, should we be more accurate, Mr. Smith was recently spotted by Miyamoto's mothers on multiple occasions, stopping in front of her residence where the victim grew up. And then Mr. Smith, who was recorded by surveillance cameras outside of the woman's home, was arrested earlier this month while in very close proximity to the residence. Smith was originally charged with a misdemeanor stalking count, but that charge was changed to the aggravated stalking, a felony, for putting Mr. Miyamoto in fear by showing up at his mother's residence and making threats to cause him harm. Now, Mr. Smith, who lives in a mobile home park in St. Petersburg, is being held without bond. A judge has ordered him not to have any contact with Agent Miyamoto. Mr. Smith, that's dumb. Yes, to go to the DEA to say that you'd like to report some suspicious drug activity and then think that they're watching you. Okay, paranoid, mental health issues perhaps, I don't know. But it's dumb that you kept pursuing the good agent when he said he wasn't investigating you. And then you practically begged him to investigate you. And then you go by and scare people at their homes and their mother's homes. That's just weird and creepy. Now, more than likely, Mr. Smith will be found not competent or have some sort of paranoid schizophrenia. Just going on a limb here. But Mr. Smith, stay away from people if they don't want you to hang out. Good advice to everybody. If somebody says no, it means no. Stay away. All right, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.